Well, hello and welcome back to the channel for a very long overdue look at my Elise Cup 250 final edition in Championship Gold. So here it is on collection day back in March last year, 2022, and this is the first time I drove the car, driving it out of the showroom at Ballancarville. Now it's a very special car in a very special spec. If you're partial to Elise Cup 250s as I am, I believe it's the only Cup 250 final edition in Championship Gold, although I do know of another Cup 250 in this colour in Europe, but it's a modern take on a Lotus colour from the 1970s, and well, it's the last ever Elise, so somehow gold seemed appropriate. I have to admit to being ever so slightly obsessed with the Elise Cup 260 as well, which was launched in the same colour. So I figured that I could convert mine into a Cup 260 spec car over time. But I think the reality is that it would cost a lot to do, and the car would probably be worth less afterwards as a result. So it's going to stay stock for now. But I love the way everyone took the opportunity to try and create their ultimate spec Elise with the fine editions. So here is mine, starting with the lightweight discs, which is a very rare option and needless to say expensive. But I wanted to go for a sort of ultimate lightweight spec, so that means carbon everything. And under here you will see some slip blow protection for the carbon splitter, because these carbon parts are obscenely expensive to replace. There's your carbon whale tail, there's obviously the carbon roof, carbon sill covers, carbon barge boards, carbon engine cover. So it literally is every carbon option. That obviously Cup 260 inspired black rear panel was also extra. So the overall effect is a sort of inverse JPS colour scheme. You really can feel the weight saving in this engine cover every time you lift it up, which is nice. It's really nicely finished, as are all the carbon parts. And because it was the last chance to ever buy a new Elise from Lotus, I went all in and ordered the titanium exhaust pipe as well, which I'd never seen or heard before on an Elise, so this is what it sounds like. It's definitely quite a fruity pipe, but in fairness I don't think it sounds any different to the steel one, really, not noticeably so, but it saves 7 kilos from the back of the car, so that's good enough for me. You might just be able to make out there that the car has got a lot of PPF on it, which is good for peace of mind, and that extends to the sill covers, which would otherwise be in for quite quite a beating. You can see inside here we have no carpets to save weight. I quite like the aluminium everywhere. You can see we have no stereo and no air conditioning, which makes this a very rare car indeed. Now, while no doubt some of you are thinking that's a bit ridiculous, I did have an Elise for 5 years without air conditioning, and I found with an Elise you can live without air conditioning quite easily. So here's a good look at the final edition wheel covered in Alcantara and the new TFT screen. It was nice that Lotus bothered to do a TFT screen, however it is pretty limited. I'll show you now how it changes when you press sport mode. It's basic. It does have issues with brightness. It's a bit of a fiddle to adjust. So overall, I'm glad they made the effort to do something a little bit different for the final editions. So what I must do now, of course, is get the car weighed. It would be really interesting to see what it actually weighs. In theory, it should be just under 900 kilos, which is pretty spectacular for a supercharged and charge-cooled Elise. I'd be very happy with that, and that was sort of the point of the car, was to go for the lightest possible spec. Now, believe it or not, this car is already on its second catalytic converter. I've never had a cat fail on any car before, and this one failed after 700 miles of gentle running in. So I was pretty shocked at that, and it did mean a few weeks off the road in the summer, which was very disappointing. However, it was fixed under warranty, as you'd hope. But the first thing they did was look at the driving data. They pulled the data from the ECU to check that I had been driving it according to the handbook running in procedure, which I had, and as a result no issues with the warranty, but something to bear in mind for anyone else. But otherwise it has been a pretty fantastic thing to own and have in the garage. I would have loved a final edition Exige Cup 430, but that really would have meant selling my Evora 4, and I figured overall I would prefer to keep the Evora GT430 and have a final edition Elise as well. So I'm happy with that decision, but it comes at a price. Let's just say that it would have worked out cheaper to buy an Elise Cup 260 a few years ago, and this car worked out at pretty much Emira money. But for me, the Elise Cup 250 in this spec is the truer Lotus and a better contrast to the Evora that I own and love. So on looking through the parts available, I spotted this filter is available through Lotus Parts, and it's the filter element that the Elise Cup 260 used. Now, to the best of my knowledge, that is the only difference between the Cup 250 and the Cup 260 engine-wise, and that filter is responsible for the 4 brake horsepower increase that the Cup 260 claimed. So I had to go in, but that so far is my only Cup 260 part that I've added to the car. Can I tell any difference in terms of performance or sound? The honest answer would have to be no. But of course, what makes the Elise special among other sports cars is the curb weight, the sub 1,000 kilo curb weight. So as a demonstration of the weight difference between that Elise and that Evora, this is the towing eye for the Evora. Pretty substantial item. And I don't think there's a better demonstration of the Elise's weight difference, between an Elise and an ordinary sports car, in fact another lightweight sports car, than this. That is the Elise towing eye, that's the Evora towing eye. So that literally goes in here, literally screws in there, so you can see the difference in the weight, and actually you can really easily push the Elise around by hand. It's a really easy car to move. You can feel the weight difference there. So just for a little bonus content for you, here is some footage of the pearl yellow Cup 250 Final Edition that you may have spotted earlier in the video. This actually belongs to my brother, and as you can see, he has got a bit further than me with the plan to upgrade to Cup 260 parts. So there's no mistaking the giant ironing board strapped to the back of it. What I can confirm is, having driven it around Hethel, that the car drove beautifully actually, and it is an absolutely honey sweet spec car, really lovely thing, and hopefully I'll be bringing you some more content of both Cup 250 Final Editions soon. Thanks as always for watching.